All right, guys, I had to redo the intro because, well, this is a long-winded video, and I go back and I want to show some receipts because I got this weird text the other night about this guy that's in the community. This is not about No Man's Sky or anything else. This is kind of about a rules for thee and not for me, and let me express some freedoms that I want to take away from other people. And then just how to be an oxymoron, how to be a kind of a shitty person. Like, you know, listen, I am a blunt asshole, and I know this, but I'm fair, and I can debate. And what I get is that people that just go into corners. So the only reason why I'm picking this back up is because the guy's made this declaration that I'm a racist and other things like that too. So it gets kind of deep, you know, and this is the only reason why I've gotten out of my lane. This guy wants to call me a racist and put a lot of words in my mouth. He's got Judases in his group that are friends with both of us, who are asking him for receipts and asking him why he thinks this and why he is like this. And the guy won't produce the receipts. I've got receipts. I'm going to give you receipts. I'm going to show you all the texts. I'm going to show you the Judases that are in his group that are calling him out. And he's not going to prove it. This is how you get these people. There are a lot of people like this. I'm so glad that Twitter's over. This is the whole problem with some of the world right now. Let me fight your violence with more violence. Let me eradicate misinformation with more information against you. Hey, I'm an asshole, but I'm not a racist, and I'm not whatever, all those other big words that you just came up with, because you can't win an argument against me because you're kind of a sad little man, a boy child. And let me make some assumptions and guesses about you. You are living in your mother's basement, and or maybe you are a trust fund baby. I don't think that you hold a great job. You probably are a leech or some kind of a succubus off of somebody, maybe. I'm guessing that you live on the West Coast, probably California. I'm thinking maybe San Francisco or something like that. Maybe not so ritzy. You probably live in a poor place, but you wish that you lived in San Francisco. And your idols are, probably one of those, the head people of Twitter or Mark Zuckerberg or something like that. You probably look up to people like that. So anyway, that's my intro. And get ready for this, because this... All right, guys. Well, I'm going to give you his evidence right off the bat, you know, because I just got this after making the whole video. This just came to me. So, well, this is what he sent my friend, and he goes, well, since you demand evidence, there it is. A full list of confirmed accounts tied to his IP address. Well, we can tell how brainiac this is. I mean, we don't need to ask for any kind of credentials on that, do we? I mean, I can just look at the guy and just tell that, well, I don't need to even ask a follow-up question to his knowledge on how he's got this tied to my IP address, because, well, he just looks like a brain. This guy is as sharp as a bowling ball, and he thinks everybody is stupid. So, Sky Masters Media, unpolitically correct, Grandma, Mr. Random, Grandma is Mommy, Giblets and Scallywags. That's hilarious. Grandma too. I'm starting to think that maybe I said that he lived with his mom in his basement. I think he lives with his grandma now. I think he's loves his grandma or something. David Birch for Oregon. I don't know what that means. He might live in Portland then. I said that he was from, I think these are from him. I think he's up late at night in his own little Twitch streams making these up. So yeah, this is kind of crazy to see. And then he sends screenshots of all these characters, and somehow one of them says something about you can see him confirming that that's who he is. I don't know, guys. I don't sit up in the middle of the night and over there on Twitch, guys. If you guys know me, you know me, and I don't do no Twitch stuff. I'm damn sure anti-Twitch. I hate all the social media outlets, and I'm damn sure I ain't hanging out over there on Chris Cross's little stream over there, man. This guy is something else. Oh yeah, Sky, bite my neck. Yeah, Sky, bite it. This is It's going to be I am crazied out by this. Okay, so I point that out too on the next one. I said, okay, I also see that you're always pointing out that you don't use Blender, and then the first thing you do is call out one. What if I glitched it? He doesn't even know anything. If his proof is to say that you can do it without in-game mechanics, and he gets mad that everybody assumes that he uses Blender, and then he came over and assumed that I used Blender. He didn't even be like, hey, is this a Blender build or is this a regular build? Didn't even ask. So you're crusading for doing the same thing that you're doing over on my page against people to do against your page. Do you see this is crazy. This is crazy. I think, what if I glitched it? Did you ask? Let's enjoy freedom. I want to revel in freedom. I want to revel in this guy's freedom to be able to express it against me. I think that's a powerful thing. But he is speaking ill of me. He does speak some very good truths of me, first of all. I want to say that. I can be an asshole, but I'm a good asshole. I'm a very blunt person. It's what I do. It's how I do it, and I'm good at it. So, I'm minding my own business. I've got a friend that hits me. It's good to talk to this guy. I hadn't talked to him in a while. We're old friends from Portland. Lived in Portland and Hood River, okay? His name's Buddy. And he goes, hey, is Crisscross Applesauce your alternate account? As soon as I hear this, I'm like, what the heck is going on? Because this guy doesn't play No Man's. He's on some other stuff. So, I'm rolling in my head like, how is this going to connect? Is what's going on in my head. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, no, that dude, I troll him. Because that's where I'm at right now. I feel for the guy, but I am trolling him. He's so easy to troll. He's very easy to do. He hates me on a super level. And, well, I push his buttons, and I do it in such a manner that I think it really blows his top, and it makes him just triggered, super triggered, I mean, these guys are so easy to do it. So, yeah, I come back and I'm like, yeah, he's a dick. And I think so. I think he's a great builder. And this ain't about No Man's Sky. He's a great builder, but he's a steamy pile of dog do for personality. And, well, I want to help him, man. I wish I could help him. But, I mean, at this point, he will double down on any lie and go on to anything else, and he's just going to do it. We're gonna show you here, too. I mean, I got receipts. He doesn't want to prove to you, but this happened 4 months ago. We're going to get into that here. Just checking. He friended me a while back. And I love how he's bitching about you, or should I say Sky. God, and then I read this, I'm like rolling in my head. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why am I getting this text from my friend Buddy, man, who lives in Idaho? I love this guy. I've known him for, gosh, man, we've been friends forever, man. I'm so glad that we started talking about this. This is so cool that it happened this way. So I said, did he do another video on me? LOL. I don't follow him. I stole his shit and gave it to everyone. Pissed him off big time. So I did that Robin Hood video, kind of just to poke at him in an underlying way. And I'm just going to keep on kind of doing that because, well, I mean, it's a game, buddy. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's a game. What you're doing is on another level. It's on a social level. It's like rules for you and not for me, and do as I say, not as I do. And you're expressing freedoms that you want to take away from everybody else too. This is kind of crazy that you do this. So Buddy's like, video where? And I go, LMFAO. Hold up. This is crazy. And it goes pretty deep from here. I didn't know there was this whole declaration from this guy on one of his pages. So he's making this comment. Maybe I'll make it bigger for you guys over here. And I want to read this in its whole entirety first. And then I want to kind of break this down just a little bit because, first of all, he does say some truths, and I'm fine with that. And then he goes off on some really weird stuff. And I think anybody who knows me or follows me is going to be like, they're going to pick this out and be like, oh, this guy is just fucking just throwing blind darts everywhere. And just, I don't know. I mean, this guy is just Hail Marys, and you can just see the desperation in this. So let's read this first. I am making this the last time I commit of this matter. If you disagree with my statements here, we will no longer be affiliated. Now that is the conquer and divide tactics that you see from these kind of people right here. All right, so let's continue off where we left off. I know it's been a long video, guys, but well, you know, he's going to give me a lot of watch. Let's continue this off. Sky Masters media should be avoided by everyone. He has shown himself to be one of the worst types of people involved with online. He has personally attacked members of the No Man's Sky community, countless, and he has now taken it up a step further and uses no less than seven, I don't know where he gets this number from, 7 different Google accounts to harass and spread extreme racist words and statements in both my YouTube and Twitch live stream chats. That's not even possible. I mean, YouTube and Twitch, they don't even allow words like that. I mean, I don't that's just a straight up crazy thing. I don't know. I mean, you would get me. If it was extremely racist or extremely anything, YouTube would get me. All right. So it's extremely to you, whatever it is. And racist, I don't know what it is. I don't know what I did. I talked about black people? I talked about living in the hood or something like that? I don't know, buddy. White people lived in the hood. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. You little pansy. Yeah, I have him blocked and banned and everything. I have the power to do so. This guy is something. This guy is something else. And I will not continue to be affiliated with anyone who chooses not to do the same. Done. Boundaries set. So there it is. There it is, guys. There's boundaries are set, man. He's not doing this. So I've got this here. I got a buddy in there. He goes, can we see the receipts or do we take your word? Sorry, I don't do internet drama and we need to see self as to what is going on. I've seen this a lot, and it turns nothing. Now, this is the guy that's friended him. Crisscross friended this guy. This guy accepted the friend request because he thought it was me, because we had this joke about crisscross apples. The confusion gets fucking crazy, guys. So he wants to know why I'm a racist, you know, and listen, if you need proof, I have it. I'm not sharing this information on here. Those who know already know because they watch my video stream. So again, I've said this somewhere on platforms that don't allow it, but he's got some power to, I don't know what this guy is just full of elf, and he's crazy. He comes back and he goes, well, and I showed him the video, so I kind of like, I showed him some stuff, and he knows I'm a dick. I'm a crazy. So he knows where I'm at, and he knows I'm trolling the guy and where we're at on this. But he knows the irony of this whole situation. Yeah. Well, and gosh, I just want to say that kind of wraps it up. No, I don't know what else to really say about that. I mean, he's not going to have any proof. He's just going to put some things, shove some stuff down. He's going to try to smear me, dox me, and do whatever he can. He doesn't have anything forward except for he just doesn't. The guy has a personal preference. Take fucking far, and then he wants to be just. I think he should shut up and just do No Man's Sky content, man. He looks like he's trying to act just like me and be like, he's not like me. And then his point is that you shouldn't be like me. He's just the biggest man-child as you can get, and the biggest oxymoron that you can get. And this is like just a proof and point and case and point here. I flabbergasted. I can't even get my words. This guy is just something. How to address. It goes hand in hand with what they want to do. Should we go back into the what happened though? I think we should go back into what happened first. Let's stop the video and then go back into this old video. I have an old video called Crisscross Communist that I did 4 months ago. And this is where I started with this guy. He wanted me to, well, let's show the video really quick. All right, man, I hate rants like this, but I can't sit back and just let somebody do this to the community and let them sit there and think that they are some kind of a righteous person that is doing great things for everyone. And I'm going to talk about Crisscross Communist here. It's a guy that is, first of all, I endorse his builds. If you are a vanilla player and you want to stand glitch mechanics buildings and you want to play like that, he has a great channel. The guy is really good at building, probably one of my favorite in-game glitch builds. So with that being said, his attitudes towards anybody else that does anything outside of that or does it in Blender or mod stuff like that, he doesn't see that as art. Too easy for him. He was very condescending with me. He loaded up the question, and it's kind of a little unfair because I baited him back. So I'm kind of a jackass myself, but I watched this guy come into the Facebook group and start making complaints, and then he made this remark on my post, which I knew was he wanted somebody to say about it, go into it in a more elaborate way. And I did premeditate what his response was, and I was right though. At the end of all this, you get to see the real true come out in him. He wants me to put a mark on me. He wants me to put a mark on all my posts, like all the purebloods can know when a Blender build comes out. And I am in a cross-play group. He claims to have a whole bunch of groups of his own that he's not posting in, or maybe he does, but he's over on a regular group for everyone, telling me that I need to put a mark on my post so all the people don't get discouraged. And then the work that he does is better because it's for the community and it's for the purists, because somehow people can't afford a PC or understand Blender, but it's so easy to him. I don't get it. It's a very contradictory conversation that I have with you, Crisscross, and you got some issues that I think you need to work on as a human being. And this game is 5 years old, and sees, buddy, I don't know what your problem is or what you think you are, but you are not the Jesus Christ who sacrificed himself. So everybody cannot be called a Blender. You are ridiculous. And I present to you the No Man's Sky community communist, Crisscross communist. His last request to meet was to be transparent with the community. So here we are. I want to be transparent with everybody because he is the, I don't know. I would say, like, from after talking to this guy, I would like, maybe my point of view was that he is Jesus Christ and he's died on the cross for your sins. So you don't have to be called a Blender builder as a console. Very upset about this. And let's just go read into this. Let's backdraft this just for a second and go back for a minute. He just joined some of the Facebook groups, came in and very cockily introduced himself with all of his builds, and he builds great, man. Love the guy. With all confidence, he deserved that welcome and everything else. I think it's weird when someone does that, but he totally can do that, man. The guy is a great builder. The best, I don't think so. I mean, there's people that I like, and I don't even think I'm the best. I think we're all great builders, and I love even the small builds and stuff like that, but some people have like some really crazy egos. But if you go back and look at some of, I blocked him, so I can't go back and show you, but if you looked at all of them, he goes out of his way to make sure everybody knows that they're not Blender builds, that he doesn't use mods, and that's fine, man. I get that, man, and I understand that people are going to do that, but it's not my fault, man. You know what I'm saying? And you are also in a No Man's Sky community page. This is not a console group. This is, where you're not going to find that? On a PS5 group or a Xbox group or something like that. You won't find me over there either. So that'd be really weird if I posted a Blender build and a PS5 group build. Then this whole conversation probably could have happened just like this, and I would have been the a-hole for being there. But everybody goes onto his post and says something about Blender. And, he wants to prove that, everybody can do it without Blender. But the first thing that he said on my post, and I knew this was the shot across the bow, this is a loaded question because he wants to prove to everybody that this is the Blender build and this is what I can do without it and whatever else, and that he's better. It's a really crazy thing. I don't quite get it. But someone discovered a nifty Blender plugin. Looks great. That's very condescending, and don't think that this is innocent. He premeditated this. He knew exactly what he was saying, and I already knew it too. My response down here was a shot across his bow, just as subtly too. I don't go after anything that he does or anything that he does or any of his skills. All I do is game mechanics and comparing to Blender. I don't say anything about his stuff, but I knew that he was going to take it that way, so I took his bait and I baited him. I rebaited the bait and threw it back. So I hate limits. Building 5 things that don't belong makes glitch build to make a glitch build happen is redundant. I think it is, and especially that if you can have a PC and get around it, I think it is. I can glitch build with the best of them. Maybe not so much. I mean, I can glitch build, and if I put time to it, I could. It's about placing the parts and pieces, but maybe that was a bold statement of me, but sure I could. But it's a waste of time if you can do it efficiently, which is my point. I have over 500 builds archived and can move wherever and whenever, and I have hundreds of preset shapes. This is a really cool part about Blender, and place parts at will. Charlie Banks made the plugin due to poor game mechanics. Blender is a is professional building compared to in-game compromise glitch building? It's far superior. I think you can get the same results, but it's not professional. I mean, if you're using Blender, I think it's a kind of a, I'm not saying that it's better. I just think it's of a more professional tool to get the results. And it's way different, and you're going to get better results. I don't care what you are or what you say. Let's go ahead and read his response. Now, the bait has been set, and watch how he comes back. And this is going to be almost like putting words in my mouth and stuff like that. Okay, so good for you. The only limits to building in game are the 3,000 part counts and your imagination. Yeah, sort of. I mean, there's a whole lot of building parts, and then plus it changes, and the build mechanics have changed. Are you even going to be promised that it's going to be like this tomorrow or after the next update? Who knows? So your first statement right there is wrong, and you're very, I don't know, I can't get over that one. More or less 3x3 scaling. Almost everything you can do in Blender, I can do in game. I just don't think so, man. I mean, you do great stuff, but you can't. I can do some ridiculous things in Blender. I can't even begin to start what I can do. I can go and take your build and explode it and make it look like it's blowing in wind. Your build, crisscross. So you're not doing that in game with yourself, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. I can keep on going with the countless of things that you can do in Blender. Okay, so yeah, I can. I move bases. Hold on. Let's see. I can do in game. I choose to do all my builds in game as to not to alienate console players or in any way discourage other building. That's a humanitarian for you right there. Crisscross, you are let's hats off to him for not discouraging people. I hate that I do that, man. And now that I realize that I do that, maybe I'm looking back and reflecting on some things. I am being sarcastic. I play on PC. I move bases around and know Blender fairly well. Again, I choose to take the time and practice building in game and teach others to do so because I don't want to deter fellow players from learning building themselves. It's my little way of bragging and giving back to the community. No need to get all defensive. I just said that I prefer whatever. I wasn't even getting defensive yet. I hadn't gotten defensive yet, but I will after this. You do you, buddy. And I must say, your stuff looks fantastic, but it's just too easy for me to do personally. This guy is so full of himself. It's so crazy. As for calling Blender far superior, well, I guess if that's how you see it. Personally, I don't. What I do takes patience and much more skill. Because I feel like that's the best thing in life are never easy to accomplish. And it's great feeling that when people accuse me of using Blender and I get to say no. I spent 200 hours building that dumb thing. LOL, cheers, mate. By the way, wire scaffolding in game is not redundant, at least not any more than real life when we use scaffolding to build structures. Yes, but you don't have to wire glitch that scaffolding into place and then attach floors to it to get an angle to a piece that needs to go over here to make an arch. So, yes, maybe you're right, buddy. Scaffolding is used, but not like that. Okay, you just can't be bothered to take the time to do it, and that's fine. Oh, I guess so. I mean, this is a purist point of view. His art is better than everybody else's art. So this is kind of a shitty way of thinking that you're just better than everybody else, and everybody else's art, he just devalued anybody else that's doing anything else. And he did the same thing on my post that he hates other people doing on his post. And I think this is really, really, really crazy. I am crazied out by this. Okay, so I point that out too on the next one. I said, okay, I also see that you always pointing out that you don't use Blender, and then the first thing you do is call out one. What if I glitched it? He doesn't even know anything. If his proof is to say that you can do it without in-game mechanics, and he gets mad that everybody assumes that he uses Blender, and then he came over and assumed that I used Blender. He didn't even be like, hey, is this a Blender build or is this a regular build? Didn't even ask. So you're crusading for doing the same thing that you're doing over on my page against people to do against your page. Do you see this is crazy. This is crazy. I think, what if I glitched it? Did you ask? Do people do this to you but think you use Blender? And this is where I already know what he's mad about. Kind of weird of you. And Blender is hard. I go into saying something about Blender is hard. You wouldn't see everybody using it and doing it, So now here he comes back. This gets thick, man. The reason I point out that I don't use Blender is because I'm tired of 90% of the comments on my build being in regards to me using Blender somehow. And like I've said, I don't for many reasons. I could, but it's no fun and not challenging. Whatever else he says, some belittling stuff about art and how it's better. My builds are better because I don't use Blender and I'm crusading for everybody. Gosh. I knew your original comment was loaded. Did you get it all out? Feel better now? No one cares how either of us build, but Blender is better. So there's my final shot. But no one really cares. I mean, no one's coming down here and looked at this. No one really cares. It's been deleted. At the end of this, I knew that he's a person that I don't need to be around. I respect his builds. I think they're art. Even though he doesn't think that mine are art, I still endorse this guy. But he is a loaded question. Be careful. So I said, but Blender is better. Glad to see that you are good at Blender too. Be careful saying that out loud because you have an image to uphold. Because he says that he uses Blender and he's good at it, but he doesn't want to use it. So now I question this guy if he does Blender or not, or if he just imports bases over to his channel. Who knows? But he teaches it, so not as if it mattered because it'd still be art. Geez, dude, what the hell is your problem? If you knew it was a loaded comment, why did you respond? It's almost like this was my post. It seemed was this my post? It seemed like this was my post. So I have no couth for responding the way that I did. How dare I, Crisscross, respond to my own post with you firing a shot across my bow, aiming at other people to make sure that they know that my build is a Blender build and that you are the guy that can do it but doesn't ask if anybody else did it. I mean, do you listen to yourself? It's absolutely crazy. All right, so let's get on to this. So this is when I blocked him. I cut everything off, and then he sent me a message. Let's go into this quick here. Yeah, so let's go back here. Let's read this real quick. I feel as though we gotten off to the entirely wrong foot. So let me try to explain a little bit better. Let me sit down and talk to you, son. Let's see. I meant no offense and wish no animosity between a fellow No Man's Sky builder. I explained why I don't use Blender to build. I don't know, I'm trying to read that. You could hold on a second here. Let's see. And you could add whatever context to that you wish, but I find it interesting that you don't mention it in your post that you use Blender. so now I'm supposed to announce it. Like I'm in the wrong for misleading people, a group that's aimed for everybody, but I have to coddle and console people. And I know it because if I put it out loud, then he wants me to put it out there bad so everybody can banish me. I know what putting Blender on the headline does. It gets a bunch of disrespectful people just like you, Crisscross, up my ass. And yeah, good. I hope you do feel it. I want somebody to comment on your post every single time that it looks like a Blender builder. It looks like cute, like somebody found a cute little Blender plugin. I hope you get it every single time, man. You deserve it now. At the same time, I'm a bit cynical, so for that I apologize. I myself am a countless jerkwad. That's not what he says. Hold up. There are literally dozens of communities dedicated to in-game building. And why aren't you in there? And like I said, using Blender is fine, but I can't discourage console players. And it's discouraging for console players to see and not to see a Blender build and not to be able to do it in game and to think that they can. But your whole point just a minute ago was to tell everybody that you can do it in game. So is it discouraging, or does it really send them to you? Like you just contradicted yourself. Like, we can do it, but then I don't know. Like, you're mad that you've proved that you can do it, so everybody does think you did it. But then you're mad that because they did. But then you say it's an honor and a badge to be called that. But you hate that you've been called that, and you want to be mad at me, and you have to take your. You know what your problem is, Crisscross? You need to take yourself over to a console group only, buddy, and post there. You just talked about all these communities and all this stuff. I think you need to take it over there, man. Beyond that, the only reason they can't is because they don't have a PC. Yeah, it's not hard to get a PC, buddy. I mean, you're saying all these things like there's consoles the only option out there for people. It seems to be your only option. I'm sorry for that. They do make PCs, buddy, but your demeanor is terrible, man. And if you don't like it, get out of a No Man's Sky community page that is aimed for everybody and go over to your bland PS5 groups and get buried over there, man. I'm sorry, man. Don't come over to big boy territory and swing it like a big boy and get mad because people think you're a big boy. Shut up, man. You victimized yourself professionally, man. And then you came over and made me a victim when I didn't want to be one, man. Yeah, jeez, man. My entire goal as No Man's Sky content creator is to help aspiring builders realize the in-game potential and not get discouraged when they see build like yours. This is condescending and crazy. This entire, let's see this here. It gets good. Come on. This entire conversation would never exist if you simply mentioned your post that you use Blender. That's all I ask. Transparency and then integrity and honesty that comes with that. Well, there you go, buddy. Jesus Christ, how much more condescending and belittling can you possibly be? You know, they make console groups. You want me to coddle and suckle your insecurities because everybody else thinks that you do Blender builds and somehow this is my fault. And you want to come over and try to devalue
bad guys
my post by posting
PC
exactly
guys.
What you don't like people posting on your post. You are something else. Unfriend me and get the hell out of my area. You are something else. I made a video about you. I'm still going to endorse your channel because I think you're a great builder.
Still do.
Your mindset is garbage. Go join a console group. Stay away from me, bro. You are trouble. Something that I just don't even want on my side or near me. Go belittle and go take your purest views somewhere else. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, and I still don't, man. It was just kept on coming at me just because it's a bullseye, the wrong target, man. We could have just been friends and everything else, but I am his enemy, and you know, it's like I don't know, or the other fans hounded him so much and devalued his stuff that he had to come over and devalue mine to make himself feel better. Crisscross, that's what you did. You devalued my artwork to make yours feel better because people were devaluing yours. I think that's crazy, buddy. You have great artwork and I love it, but your personality is, man, stinks, buddy. It stinks. Anyway, I'm gonna leave everybody else on a good note. Tell somebody that you love them, call somebody up, and I will see you guys on the next video.